good to see everyone here tonight. Now, we may not know a lot of things in our lives, but we do know one thing. We know that HeadStart works. HeadStart works for children, HeadStart works for parents, and HeadStart works for West Virginia. Sisters and brothers, we need to keep our eyes on the prize of a good education for every child in West Virginia.
Right.
In keeping our eyes on the prize, we need to let HeadStart parents know you do not stand alone. As a United Methodist pastor, I am here to tell you that people of faith from every creed and every denomination stand with you. Sisters and brothers, we need to keep our eyes on the prize of an enriched life for every child in this country. In keeping our eyes on the prize, we need to let our children know this. You do not stand alone. Parents, teachers, state and federal representatives, unions, nonprofits stand with you. It is good to see Bill Johnson here. It is good to see Karen Williams and Marva Dowden. It is good to see Kathy McCormick, Gary Zuckett, and Stephen Smith, and Becky Gooch. It is good to see Gail Manchin. It is good to see Delegates Misha Ford and Don Perdue. It is good to see Secretary of State Natalie Tennant, Kelly Goes of Senator Manchin's office, and Rochelle Goodwin of Senator Rockefeller's office. It is good to hear from Representative Capito's office, and it is good to see Congressman Rahal. And I know that Congressman Rahal stands for children. Because I walked on Route 52 in McDowell County with Congressman Rahal when he was walking for students from Concord College. And I'll always remember that. Children, you do not stand alone. We who are gathered here stand with you. Sisters and brothers, we need to keep our eyes on the prize of a better future for West Virginia, because we, the people of West Virginia, do not stand alone. They stand for HeadStart in North Carolina. They stand for HeadStart in California. They stand for HeadStart in New York, and they stand for HeadStart in Texas. In each and every state of this great country, people of goodwill who care about HeadStart and children stand with us. And finally, sisters and brothers, we need to keep our eyes on the prize of a brighter America, because this sequester has touched not only children but the elderly, not only students but teachers, and not only education but the environment. Because we are all in this together, we must all stand together.
I just want to ask the question, why are we cutting HeadStart? Why are we cutting Meals on Wheels? Can I turn this off? Why are we cutting anything that has to do with helping people that are vulnerable and need a hand up? But what's a budget? A budget is a moral document. A budget is how we as a society decide what is valuable and what is worth preserving and what is worth lifting up. And what does it say about us when we're making cuts to HeadStart, eliminating all these chairs in the HeadStart program? But that's just the tip of the iceberg. We're also cutting better education for kids. We're cutting food for low-income families. And when we look at the budget, we have to make trade-offs. And some of those trade-offs, I think, have to do with the tax cuts that the big corporations get. Talk about trade-offs. There's a tax break for the big corporations on their corporate jets that the CEOs used to fly all over the country. If we eliminated that one tax cut, it would pay for the HeadStart cuts. Federal support for elementary, secondary, and special education was cut by $1.7 billion this year. If we eliminated the tax breaks for hedge fund managers, it would pay for that. Which one would you rather have?
The birth of HeadStart started an era when we started helping families who lived in poverty. That war on poverty still exists today. But today we have a war on children and families. We have a war on families who are trying to feed their families, trying to give their children decent housing. We have a war on people who are trying to hold jobs. jobs with Head Start programs throughout the state. Yes, there is a war on children and families in our state and across the nation. We cannot survive. We cannot survive additional sequesters. We need to let Washington know that what they are doing are affecting people that live in your neighborhood and my neighborhood, who go to your schools and my schools. We cannot continue to have the quality of programs that we have if they continue to cut our budget.
My name is Bill Johnson. I'm the father of 2 children, ages 5 and 3. This is my daughter Marissa. She is autistic. She is a student in our Kanawha County Head Start program. When she turned 3 years of age, she graduated birth of 3. She did not have a waiver program in line. She does have her SSI. Her therapy would have been restricted to 20 sessions a year. Through Kanawha County's Head Start program, she continues to receive weekly, individual, and group speech therapy. She continues to receive occupational therapy. She continues to enjoy going to school and receiving the socialization with the other children. And we as a family continue to receive the resources from the teachers, from the social workers, from the counselors, and from the school board in general to help us to continue her growth, education, and development at home. Without this program, my daughter would have lost 2.5 years of therapy, communications, at an age when they should be learning the most. I cannot see this happening. We have too strong a community. I don't want to see this happen. She will be leaving Head Start in 2 more years. I'm hoping and praying she will be ready for kindergarten. 1 in 88 children are being diagnosed with autism today. There's going to be a lot more following her. We have to keep this going today. I thank everybody for coming out. I thank the people behind me.
The first thing I want to bring to your attention is all the chairs that's sitting here today. That's how many slots was cut in our Head Starts across the state. That's just the beginning, though. This is not done. Congress has still not made a difference. They haven't changed their position, and we've got more cuts coming shortly. We can't stand it here in West Virginia. They need to stop, and we need to reconsider what we're doing. They make a difference. They make a difference in our lives. They make a difference by teaching our children. They make a difference by calling at 9 o'clock. When there's a language barrier, they didn't stop working at 5. They continued to work, even though it was part-time, I heard her say. They continued to do what's right. The worker continued to make sure we provided service. That's what West Virginia is supposed to be about. We're supposed to be about taking care of our own. We should be proud that we're West Virginians, and we better remember what's coming down the path. Right now, there is almost 400 chairs that was cut last time. What's next? And you, each and every one of you are here, can make a difference. You need to call your congressman, and you need to say, stop sequester and stop it now, because it's hurting us back home. That's what we need to do. It's time to send a clear message. And it's not just you. Look who lives beside you. Think of the family down the road that has got people in Head Start. And not only have they cut slots, they had to do what they had to do. And we have Head Starts that actually cut the service of providing transportation. So your next door neighbor whose child qualifies for Head Start could be in the program, could be getting educated, could be helped with language barriers, could be helped in so many ways, can't even make it to school because they work and they have one car. So you got to send your child to school or take the child to school or go to work. You got to put food on the table, people. You got to be able to feed your family. So what do? We go to work. I represent workers here. And so you'll know I'm with SEIU, District 1199. We represent Head Start workers. And it's time that Congress remembers who they're hurting. They're hurting us back in West Virginia, and it's time for them to stop. So I ask and plead with you, call your congressman or congress-lady and tell them STOP is the question.
If you believe, as I do, that America is the best last hope of this world. And you'll believe as I do as well that the children of America are the first best hope for the future of this country. And you know, I don't buy that old naysayer's argument that we're headed in the wrong direction, we're going to hell and all that, that our young people are just headed in the wrong direction, because I believe the young people of West Virginia and of this nation are good people, are strong people, and I believe they are headed in the right direction if only given the right opportunities to head that way by their government. Who would take the meat axe approach to everything in order to say that they're helping our children by reducing the debt that will be passed on to our children, our grandchildren, blah, 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 and all that. No, don't buy that. Come on, give me a break, because they're taking the meat axe approach to everything. Not only HeadStart, but education. The COPS program that is so important to our law enforcement across across the state of West Virginia. They're taking the meat axe approach to every program, higher education, lower education, middle education, you name it. And they'll tell you that that's the reason they're doing it. It's for future generations so that we don't have to continue to pass on the debt. Our children deserve not only the Head Start program, but they deserve to get off on the right foot in life. And you talk about reducing the deficit, that's going to reduce the deficit in the future, because that means less money that we as a nation are going to have to pay should they go wrong in the future. The poverty program has been mentioned already here tonight. That's getting cut as well. Every program we have for treatment of drug abuse, for prevention, for law enforcement's tools to fight the drug problem across our state, those programs are getting cut as well. So how do we expect our children to get off on the right foot when we're making it so difficult for them? Raise taxes on the corporations that are getting by paying no taxes today, by shipping jobs overseas, Kenny Perdue, Elaine Harris. That's why they don't pay taxes. That's where we ought to be closing tax loopholes. That's where we ought to be reducing our deficit.
If there's one thing to take from tonight, it's that we aren't about talk. It's important to tell these stories. It's important to say why we're here, but we're here to do business. And there is two things that we can do, each one of us can do, to start filling these chairs. The first is already happening. I want to thank our legislature, I want to thank our Secretary of State, I want to thank our governor, and I especially want to thank our local school boards who are already starting to do everything they can, stretching every dollar of state and local budgets to find some way to absorb as many of these kids into pre-K as possible. It's not enough, but there is a lot of heroic work going on around the We aren't going to fundraise our way to a solution. We're not going to band-aid our way to a solution. We need congressional action. And there are already two pieces of legislation, one in the House, one in the Senate, that would end sequester cuts. So we're here to do a little business. We want to ask all of our congressional delegation to come tonight to hear the stories, and we're giving them an assignment. We say, take back this request, take it back to your staffs, talk to your constituents, and let us know, will you support this legislation that's already on file to stop the sequester cuts, or write your own? We're okay either way, but we want to see the words and the action. First invite Kelly goes to the microphone to share a statement on behalf of Senator Mann. Will you take back our request to the senator that he sign on to this resolution? Thank you very much. Yeah, let's give a round of applause representing Senator Rockefeller, Megan Shelton. Megan, one question for you as well. Will you take back our request that he sign on to this legislation?
Yes, I will.
Thank you very much.
What do we want? When do we want it? Now. What do we want?
No more cuts.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
No more cuts.
When do we want it?
Now.
Thank you.